Alright, y'all, welcome to the All Sports Pass Podcast West. I'm your host, Youth. And tonight, it's Tennessee week on the West Channel. And this is a big game. Probably Dame the week in college football. Might be college game day, maybe. I'm not sure. I haven't checked yet. But this is a big game for Tennessee if they want to go to the SEC championship in college football playoffs. Of course, last week, they beat Mississippi State. I went to that game, so highlights are on that channel, and all the other stuff on that game is covered by the North Channel. But this week, Tennessee is going to take on Georgia, number 7 in the nation for Tennessee, playing against number 12 Georgia. This would normally be the game that decides the SEC East. However, the East doesn't exist anymore, so it's really a battle of who wins the college football playoffs in this scenario. Of course, Tennessee has a high chance of winning. Their only loss was against Arkansas. May not look good, but then again, that was the same week when Alabama lost to Vandy. As for Georgia, it's win or go home for them. Because, of course, their losses coming against Alabama and recently to Ole Miss, being their second loss of the season. So it's not going to look good for Georgia if they lose this game. Now, I've been hearing that the fans are going to do a blackout, which I don't know if Georgia's going to wear black uniforms, but Tennessee has confirmed they'll be wearing all white, the Stormtrooper uniforms, obviously. I'm just no bit surprised as they've always worn all white. It is Georgia the past times they've played them at Athens. Except for the 2022 game, they wore orange pants that game. But of course, this was to be a big game for Tennessee because not only is a playoff berth on the line for Tennessee, but also a SEC championship berth. And obviously them beating Georgia for the first time since the 2016 Hail Mary. Double Hail Mary, really. That was actually the second ever Tennessee game I ever watched, the 2016 Tennessee-Georgia game. So this is a very special matchup for Tennessee if they win. Now, of course, with all the Nico stuff, the injury, of course they said it's questionable if he plays. We don't know what's going to happen, but I hope he plays because it will give us a bit more hope or a bit more faith, really, to beat Georgia. Since it's never usually easy to beat Georgia, unless apparently if you're Alabama and Ole Miss. But then again, Tennessee beat Bama, so who knows? Of course, Georgia are the favorites in this game. But I think Tennessee now has the momentum. They finally scored a first-quarter touchdown against Mississippi State last week. There's a highlight of that on my channel. And also, I allow the North Channel to upload some of my clips as well. So you can also check out that on the North Channel. Which, by the way, does get more views than my videos, so I don't know. But it's still support. Like, it doesn't matter who does the most views. It's still views for the podcast. So, my prediction is a very huge game. Tennessee has momentum. Georgia doesn't because they just lost Ole Miss. Here's what some people think. They think Georgia is trying to mislead Tennessee in the thinking Tennessee wins so that Georgia makes this a trap game and Georgia wins. I hope that's not the case. And if it's not, which I don't think it is, I have Tennessee winning this game in a very, very close battle. I think this is a 1-point win for Tennessee, maybe even ending in overtime. But I have Tennessee pulling off the upset. Well, I don't know if it's an upset. Tennessee's higher ranked. But I have Tennessee pulling a huge win over the Bulldogs to send them to the college football playoffs unless they lose to UMass and Vandy, which I doubt they will. Who knows? Vandy beat Bama. It'll be really hard for Georgia to make the playoffs if they lose here. They're going to need a lot of help. A lot of teams losing, like Indiana, Alabama, Tennessee, like a lot of those top 10 teams. Going to have to lose for Georgia to make the playoffs. But if Tennessee loses, they don't have that bad of a scenario because Even if Tennessee does lose to Georgia, that still puts Tennessee at 10-2 with the same record as Georgia if they win out. And with that, I think the win over Bama, because Bama is probably also going to go 10-2. That might put Tennessee in the playoffs. Despite the fact they might not go to the SEC championship, they might still make the playoffs, even with a loss to Georgia. Now, it probably decrease if it's a blowout, but if it's close, it might still happen for Tennessee. You'll never know what happens. So that's my prediction. I have Tennessee winning this game by 1, maybe an overtime game. Both defenses are amazing. However, I think both teams have been sloppy recently. But Georgia's throwing this in Kentucky, but Tennessee also throwing this in Kentucky. But I think Georgia's throwing worse because Georgia traveled, but Tennessee was at home. Tennessee won by 10, Georgia won by 1. And while Georgia did beat Texas, Texas did throw this Vanderbilt. So that's not really helpful for Georgia there. And even if they beat Clemson, which they did, Clemson has also not been doing that well this season. I don't even know if they're in the top 15 anymore, based on how they're doing. So, of course, this is the All Sports Pass Podcast West. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and also don't forget to subscribe to the North channel. It will really help us out. Next week, the North channel will be covering Tennessee, and their game is UTEP. It wouldn't be a game I really want to cover anyways. This is a major game for me to cover, so your host, Steve, signing out.